100 years ain't what it used to be. Before you know it, you're 63, making plans for Medicare A and B. You look around yourself and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be.
Let's do
Joe,
this.
I am rolling.
Josh Arnold, investment consultant, brings you Garage Logic podcast number 1743, March 24, 2026. 76 degrees was the record high on this day. That was in 1939. And for the second day in a row, the record cold was in 1965. It was 8 below on this day. And yes, we have an ice out.
Let's go.
White Bear Lake went out on this day in 1987. Call Josh Arnold at 952-925-5608 for a free 48-minute consultation.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the Rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Sushiro.
We got spirit. Yes, we do.
We got spirit. How about you?
You're demented.
Yeah, he's got some issues.
What are you talking about?
Well, he was...
No, that was on the council.
You know this Cesar Chavez fellow? He's behind the creation of the United Farm Workers.
Mm-hmm.
Did a lot of great work.
Yeah.
And I'm just... I guess I'm puzzled. I guess I'm not puzzled. That Mysterians so rigidly identify people by political identity and nothing else, that should something disturb them, they'll dump the person
They react.
in a heartbeat. Now, the Minnesota House unanimously approved a bill yesterday to repeal Cesar Chavez Day. Because he has allegations of sexual abuse against him. He's long dead, but he was a well-loved civil rights activist and labor leader. Mm-hmm. And the minute something interferes with that, the Mysterians want nothing to do with that person. Now, where am I going with this? I need help. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going with
With
this.
this is where
I'm turning to you.
where does it? Where is the? What's your number? Where is the line? How far does Clinton receiving oral sex in the White House constitute him being a bad guy? So we have to strike him from the records when he took advantage of an intern. Is that where you're going?
Yes.
Where's the line?
Well, the line might be children, for example. I mean, Cesar Chavez is accused of abuse of children. Well, I guess that is enough. I would concur that if you're harming children, you don't deserve worldwide praise.
So does that mean we strike him from
He's gone.
all the? I don't mean all the good, and I'm not trying to. I'm playing devil's.
I know.
advocate.
That's the trouble I'm having. But clearly, if he abused children, then you got to dump him. You got to dump him.
Yeah, but you still can praise the stuff he did.
But that won't happen.
No, but it should, and that's part of the argument we've had for 10 years now about U.S. history.
Yeah.
Because people are trying to scrub parts of U.S. history they don't like.
Well, he's
Drives
going to
me
be thoroughly
crazy.
scrubbed.
Yeah, well,
Didn't they just decide in this state to have Cesar Chavez Day last year?
I
And
don't
this
know.
would've-
It's supposed to be March 31st.
And it would've been
That's
the-
his birthday.
Would have been the first one. I believe I read that somewhere. How come we're just finding out now about this?
there have been stories about his roaming, shall we say, for 40 years.
Okay, well,
but-
that's what I was hoping you would say. So why didn't somebody investigate this further before they started throwing his name on streets and avenues and boulevards and
I think an
buildings?
alleged victim came forward.
That's true, and she was one of the leaders with him of the union movement.
Yeah, I'm familiar with her.
Don't we have Cesar Chavez schools and
We do.
Parkway.
Yeah.
A
Red
vetting,
Yeah.
a more thorough vetting should have been done before we started honoring this guy. I mean, if there's been allegations for 40 years, let's go here.
Well, there are allegations of infidelity, but I don't think the children part entered until recently.
Ramona Araguin de Rosales. Met Chavez in college as a student, and the movement inspired her to activism. She helped name the street after him and started the school named in his honor. Oh, she's not one of the victims. I'm trying to find the victim who came forward. I don't know.
Are you talking about the union person?
Well, who came forward?
That's Huerta is her last name. Huerta.
Huerta.
Yeah.
Huerta.
Well, see you later,
Huerta.
Caesar. That's it for you.
Well, rightfully so.
Yeah, I guess. If it's kids,
Yeah.
no question.
Well, if it's rape, you know.
Well, you got the president can get away with that. I don't know why the
Jesus.
Oh, I don't.
Why
Was
a
the
labor
Bill
leader
Clinton
can
thing
get
rape?
huh?
The Bill Clinton thing, though, wasn't rape.
No, no. I'm
He
not
was
talking
about Bill Clinton.
I'm not talking about Clinton. No.
Oh, you're talking about crotch grab.
Hello?
Oh, the emails should be fun tomorrow.
Good luck.
Well, you handle it all. Call them as they see them, Chris.
I know. That's what I love about you.
Yeah. I've got great news.
I love great news. I really do.
You know what?
Makes me happy.
We're starved for it, aren't we?
It makes me happy. Warm, great news.
You know what, Matthew? You know what you are? Levity. That's what I love about you.
I don't think that's. I think that's very.
That was a transition.
Is
I
it
love
levity
that.
when you raise something?
No, isn't levity
Levitation.
like a moment of...
Brevity. Quickness.
It's humor. You had humor.
Yeah.
That's levity.
Okay.
I love moose.
How you doing, Kenny?
I like mooses.
Moose is plural.
Right. I like them. I think they're neat.
Yeah, they're majestic.
That's the word I was looking
I'm
for.
really helping you out today.
How do you spell mooses?
And we're learning from an NPR story today that the moose population is doing very well, but they almost sound disappointed in it because the moose are doing very well despite climate change. Well, I got news for you. For as long as moose have been around, there's been climate change because the climate always changes and always will. But for years, the Mysterians have wished to, if we lost one moose in the count, it was because climate change. But now we're learning that the moose population is holding steady despite climate change.
Yeah.
Remember every year we get a moose update?
Yep.
Well, I think this is the day.
And the degree of, the climate went down 0.5 degrees.
And we lost a moose.
Right. Then they're
No.
not, they're confused now.
And it says that Minnesota's moose population was once beleaguered, but it's no longer beleaguered. It's holding steady at 4,500 mooses. And that's according to the most recent population survey by the Department of Natural Resources in Minnesota. I think this is wonderful news. We peaked around 8,800 mooses in 2006. And now we got as low as 2,800 mooses in 2013. But, remember we went through all this because we had annual moose updates, and that was wolves, the diseases, but since then, the mooses have appeared to their numbers have leveled off, and we can say with reasonable confidence of the moose population in northeast Minnesota declined steeply between 2009 and 2013 and has since stabilized at around 3,700 to 3,800 mooses. So this is fantastic. The mooses are hanging in there. They've been especially impacted by warming winter. Well, they haven't been. You're telling me they've held steady. That's why it seems to me like there's almost a sigh went through the newsroom at NPR. Yeah. Damn it, we got the annual moose story, and they're unfortunately they're hanging in there just really well. And yet we want to tell you that winters are all screwed up.
Yeah, they wanted trouble.
See, it's always my job, I know, to defend any news source, right?
Oh, John.
No, it's always your job to defend liberal news sources.
It's comes from the DNR
Right.
press release, actually, is
Right.
really. They took
I know.
that bit from.
I know.
Well, then why don't you pick on the DNR, not the news source?
Well, the DNR is the same as NPR. It's just another.
Okay.
Yeah. So the winter ticks that normally die off in cold weather are not dying off. Well, but the moose are all right. So where do your sensibilities lie with this story? Personally, I'm taking it as good news. The moose are adapting. They're fine. They're hanging in there. There's a lot of mooses.
I'm going to go so far as to say you're pro-moose.
I am.
Yeah.
I
It's
like
happy news.
Well,
I like mooses.
If they went from 2,800 in 2013 to 4,800 now, what do we don't have anything to complain about.
And if the DNR had quit tracking them down and tranquilizing them and drawing blood, maybe the mooses would be better off.
Aren't we supposed to pick off a moose every once in a while to thin
don't-
the herd out?
Well, let's turn to Kenny. There's no such thing as a moose hunting
Aren't
season.
there
is there?
Not
lotteries?
anymore. No, not anymore. There have been, but ever since that decline you mentioned, there haven't been any seasons since 2013.
Well, I'm in favor of that. I don't think anyone should shoot a moose.
Well, I disagree with you vehemently, and you're wrong.
Of course
and this
you
is
do.
from being born and raised and living in the city where the animals walk up to your front door. You're the kind of person that goes to Yellowstone and ends up getting gored by a beaver.
No, I have not lost sight of nature. I have not. I gored by a beaver.
Yeah,
Took him a minute.
Yeah.
I got it now.
Took him a minute.
So do you mean, Kenny, that they don't do the lottery where some...
There's no moose hunting in Minnesota. The DNR doesn't feel like the population is strong enough to support it.
Okay.
When there was moose hunting, are they edible, Kenny? A serious
Oh,
question.
absolutely.
Really?
Oh,
Okay.
my goodness, yes.
Good Lord, John.
Wonderful meat.
Moose. They're
Sorry, Joe.
fantastic. They're fantastic.
Those back straps are just...
We also
fantastic.
have elk over in the other part of up in northwestern Minnesota.
They're reindeer, aren't they? Like they look like reindeer?
I think you're thinking of caribou.
Okay.
Are elk a healthy population?
Yeah, that's
Or
doing
don't we study
okay.
that?
That's doing okay.
The
It's
one
over
good
in
thing-
farm country.
The one good thing from that was, of course,
Come down for moose soup after.
because that's what you would get from the moose hunt.
Yeah. And also NPR today, I it's a site I check every day. I don't often plumb their depths. But today we're having mental illness problems
Boy, I'll say.
because of warming winters. And they got a picture of this guy holding a hose, and he's presumably he's trying to flood a rink, but it's just a lake. It's akin to when Will Steger brought ice to the state fair
Right.
and threw the ice in the ground.
There's your global warming.
In fact, this is a December 25 picture of a guy named John Hoshin. Do you know John Hoshin?
John Hessian.
Hessian, do you know John?
Yes, I do.
Of course he does.
Well, he's trying to flood the rink at Groveland.
He owns
Oh.
St. Paul Corner Drug.
Okay,
He's a
well.
pharmacist. He's a farm boy that is turned pharmacist. He owns St. Paul Corner Drug on Selby and Snelling, one of the last...
Selby and
neighbor-
Snelling?
I'm sorry, St. Clair and Snelling.
I know the guy who sold it to him.
Hesh runs a really good business. They're a really hard-working
St.
family.
Clair, isn't that where the St. Clair broiler was?
It's Kitty Corner from the
Kitty
broiler.
Corner.
Okay.
Now, John is out there with the hose, and he looks terribly disappointed. But for all I know, he's standing there on a 40-degree day.
He had a rough winter, I think, at Groveland. They
They
didn't
had
really-
about a 6-week skating
They couldn't
season,
really get it going.
Yeah, it's been tough.
and we're learning that this is causing mental illness. I personally haven't experienced it, and I'm grateful for that.
I can attest that John is stable. I just talked to his wife yesterday.
Yeah.
He's stable.
Well, he's been building that rink for 20 years.
Yes.
I would say my mental illness is because winter is way too long.
Oh, yeah. Is
I know,
Hessian
let's
the guy who
go
owns the Zamboni?
Well, Groveland, the Groveland Park Association owns the Zamboni.
They threw the money in to
Michael
buy one.
Engelman, Ray, John Hessian. John's in charge of it now. I think Engelman's gone. And but yeah, if you want to, they will take volunteers next year. It's a fun atmosphere.
I'm just getting to the mental illness part
You
of the
should take
story.
the Zamboni for a drive. For a
I'm
call
not
next
sure
year.
I would even know how to operate it.
You could do it.
Yeah.
When do we park it?
If Gabe can do it at 5, you can do it at 70, whatever.
We have dog sledding problems because of the warmer winters.
Dog sledding.
Here we go. Shauna Weaver has heard accounts from many people in the upper Midwest. She's a counselor and a climate grief researcher.
Is there any money in that?
No, that
money in
is
that?
not a thing. No.
Not only that, she's authored a book called Climate Grief.
The odds of me reading that are...
She first started thinking about climate grief.
Wait a minute. Is that a way to get medicinal weed?
I think so.
If you're suffering from that, I need a bag of weed for that one.
She first started thinking about climate grief while working as a school counselor about 15 years ago, and she noticed more and more of the kids were reporting having some sort of grief or anxiety around climate change, she said. You know what? They were scamming you, lady. I don't think the kids really...
Do you know any
I
kid
do not
that's ever
know
complained
one
to you?
single kid who's ever said, I'm feeling a little off today, and I think it's the climate.
Thank you.
I just don't know one. Not
she
one.
should know that in her industry.
And I'm around a lot of kids.
I'll say.
Kids brought up fears. You know why they're bringing up the fears? Because you morons in the failed academy keep trying to brainwash them.
See, I'm wondering if they question these kids with one of those leading, these surveys that kind of lead you into giving them the answers they want to hear. Kids, how do you, does climate change make you feel bad?
And then you think, oh, what the hell, I'll say yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the kids just answer with what they think the adults want to hear.
Kids brought up fears about what they saw closer to home, like melting snow too early in the winter. Weaver said she feels that grief herself. When she visits the northern Wisconsin lakes she used to cross on a snowmobile to get to school. These days, the ice is often too thin to hold the weight. Weaver said, I've said this before.
Go.
They have a golden book image of winter. It's supposed to snow lightly on Christmas Eve with big fluffy flakes.
Yep.
And Christmas is supposed to dawn sunny and chilly, and so because everyone's going to get new skates and go to the rink, or they're going to get their new Friendly Flyer sled and go over to the local hill, and then they're going to have hot chocolate.
Oh, with marshmallows.
Yes, and then in January and February, I don't know what they do. They skate and they sled, and then
Couple snowball fights, some snowmen.
yes, and then it should start warming up for them. I think they would accept sometime in March. We're nearing the end of March. I think it's okay now that there's snow melting. I don't think that causes grief with people.
When do they complain about the climate?
Well, I think beginning in November.
Okay.
November, December, January.
They're wondering why it's dips. Why is it getting colder right now?
They're losing that traditional up north winter. That's where you went with the not very reliable snowmobile back in the day, and you'd fire that thing up.
That carburetor
wouldn't work at all. But you brought seafoam with you, and you squirted it.
Gave it a shot.
And then you went and Dad had one. Dad had a snowmobile, and he would tow the kids on a toboggan behind the
fun.
snowmobile, and
What a great memory.
they were bundled up.
It was one of those black bubble hood Scorpions.
Yeah.
And the sled was actually a car hood upside down.
and it polluted the air horribly. But we didn't care.
No,
'cause it was fun.
Joe, it didn't pollute. It spewed.
It spewed.
It spewed.
Two-cycle smoke and gas into the air.
All this while small herds of mooses.
And then the
were
moose
watching them go
were
by.
watching because there were so many mooses, And then they would go back into the woods.
The woods.
You had to go into the
I
woods.
see them on the edge of the woods watching the snowmobile, and then they go back.
Only to be shot by some Stormy Cromer hat-wearing Ichabod.
Elmer Fudd. Those are
Is that
some
his
of
name? Stormy Cromer?
Weaver said the fear of losing a traditional up north winter is, for many, the fear of losing a beloved lifestyle. There are some of the deepest held themes and through lines must be a counselor word, and through lines of our lives and our identities. And they often intertwined with some of our most transformative memories, with family and with who we say we are. Yeah. Climate grief is a developing area of mental health practice. Did you know that?
Did not know that. Yeah. I never thought about it.
Well, it's not, Matt. It's not an official diagnostic term, but it's gaining more attention. The American Psychological Association conducts research and offers trainings on climate and mental health for therapists. And then they'll tell you what drug to take, and the pharmaceutical industry will make billions.
Right.
Weaver said there's more research in the field than there used to be, and more therapists trained to help people who struggle with climate grief. Unlike other grief, we don't get to first move through a trauma or a crisis and then have a phase of grieving. And that's the way usually people tend to move through a big change, Weaver said. Well, Weaver, has it occurred to you that maybe this is not a big enough change to notice? She said talk therapy can help, especially with therapists who've studied climate-related anxiety. You got a McAllister person named Christy Manning. She studied it. She reports on climate and mental health. We have to learn to cope. You have to have meaning-focused coping.
What about self-medicating,
You know,
Joe?
this country's so spoiled.
How spoiled are we?
And we've had it so good for so long that we continue to create new industries of people who look to create problems.
Yeah.
And then once the problem is created, they offer themselves as a specialist who can help you handle it. How narrow and uneventful is your life that you'd find yourself staring out the window and having climate grief?
And, there's a lot of other shit on my plate that I need to worry about.
Me too.
More than climate grief.
The little golden book. It would have a picture of a moose on the cover.
Yeah.
Staring at the sledders from the woods. Mm-hmm. And then there would be some Christmas ornaments. But that might cause religious intolerance.
Yeah,
so there wouldn't be religious ornaments.
Maybe snowflakes.
Beautiful flakes with beautiful shapes.
All independent and not the same ones.
I love how they get an idea in their head as to what winter should be like. It should be from December 1st until April 1st. It should be 10 below at night, 20 above during the day, and snow, twice a week, right? That's what winter should be.
Yep.
And if it's not, there's something drastically wrong.
And never mind, by the way, that it's never been like that.
No, weather is messy. The Mother Nature's messy.
I guess what I would ask this Weaver, and as a therapist, she would know the answer. Let's say I would visit her on February 10th. Okay. I would like to say to her, what's the temperature supposed to be today?
Yeah, what's your number?
And she would have, A, she would have no answer, and B, absolutely nothing to do with what the temperature would be that day. But she's, she's
made a living out of it.
She's a capitalist. She invented a niche here for herself, and she got the book out and the whole deal, and she probably gets a few $100 for speaking, and she's going to sell you on that climate grief.
She's in the industry.
She's in the industry.
Yeah. She's an insider, an industry insider.
Sorry, folks, we're closed for 2 weeks to clean and repair America's favorite family fun park. Sorry.
That's the moose.
Just letting you know.
The park is closed.
And the mooses are holding their own. Let's take away from this, that's good news. It's fine.
Yeah, they doubled in size almost.
It's wonderful. It's just wonderful.
You brought us a little positive Thursday.
I think I did.
On a Wednesday.
Tuesday.
Wow.
Really? Is it really only Tuesday?
It only is Tuesday, sorry.
The way I look at it, Kenny, it's Tuesday already.
Sometimes you wonder, don't you?
Oh, Mr. Positivity, huh?
That's the way I look at it. And you know what? The other way I look at it, Kenny, it's a privilege to be here. It's a privilege that we've reached another Tuesday.
You know what I can't get by, Joe? That it's already March 24th. What happened to March?
What happened to winter in March? It wasn't storybook winter in March.
No.
It's just not the way I want it to be.
It's not what I thought it was.
I hope you guys aren't grieving.
This isn't the weather I was raised on.
I drink to climate grief.
Yeah, that was my question. Matthew, how do we self-medicate if we're upset by the climate?
Oh, a nice lemon tea with a little honey, a spot of sugar.
See, I don't know when the grievers would
It's a distant relative of mine.
yeah, you're the reavers. They're the grievers.
Yeah.
I don't know when is it okay to have warm weather. I wonder if you're a grief
Spring
counselor.
break.
I don't think ever.
Well, that's another funny thing. If it's too cool in May and June,
Is that
not hot
okay?
enough, that's full on panic also because it's supposed to be hot AF.
What if
in
it's
June,
hot
July, and-
what if it's hot AF in July?
I think
that
would
okay?
be- I think that would be okay.
So we get the news reports and make sure you drink water.
But if it
no,
doesn't
because
hit,
then they go the hottest. This is the hottest July ever since 1997.
right, if it doesn't hit 90 in July though,
I went to Ecofun on Saturday.
To cool off?
So yeah, I had grief, so I went there.
Got it.
It's the most fun store, and I'll tell you more about it in a moment. But on the way back, I took back roads just for the hell of it. It was beautiful out. The windows were down, the whole deal. And I came upon a new housing development somewhere between Forest Lake and White Bear Lake.
Okay.
And just row after row of new homes. What do you think I thought? What do you now get in my head? What do you think I thought when I saw those homes?
Who's buying all these houses out here?
No, I thought if a tornado hits this,
Oh my God!
and
what is wrong with you?
well, let me finish the thought.
Jeez.
If a tornado, God forbid, goes through there and takes down a house or two, it'll be called climate change. What people won't realize is tornadoes have been going through where these houses are for the last 5,000 years, and all they hurt was a squirrel. There was nobody there.
Right.
There was nothing there.
I'll give you that.
Now you're putting up houses where tornadoes might strike. That's what I thought. That was my thought.
You live with tornado fear.
I have grief about it. Yeah.
This is part of the eco ad?
Well, I'm getting to Ecofun.
Oh.
It was
But
great.
it's nice that those houses were so close.
That's
to
what I'm
Ecofun.
saying. That's
yes. Hop, skip, and a jump.
Ecofun, 400 electric bikes in stock, hundreds of motorcycles. Well, maybe not hundreds, dozens of motorcycles in stock, youth recreational equipment, wave runners and jet skis. You buy one of those, you get a free trailer. Sometimes the prices are so good they're redacted. I can't reveal them.
you
I
can't
can't
let 'em
reveal
know.
them. But let's tell you this: you can get an electric bike, be riding this weekend for as low as $7.99.
They got some cool stuff.
This is the way to go if you want to. You pedal uphill and it looks like you're really working, but you go by somebody who's really working, and you just give them the nod. That's great stuff. Great scooters, outdoor equipment, you name it. It's Ecofun Motorsports in Forest Lake / Columbus, just west of the interstate. On Highway 97 and down in Burnsville on the Service Road of Life, and a great website at ecofunmotorsports.com.
Right, because that's not his son.
Right. Steppenwolf is coming.
I love talking
It's
music.
the end
with
of the
you guys.
world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
it's time to order more coffee from customroasting.net here. We're about to run out this week at Jackass Ranch. For me, it's going to be another twin pack. That's 2 pound and 3/4 bags of dark roasted, delicious coffee sent right to my front door. The dark roast option. That includes a bag of Boundary Waters and a bag of French roast. If you opt for the other one, the light roasted combo, you'll get a bag of Minnesota Morning and a bag of Columbia Excelsior. That's 3.5 total pounds of the best coffee you will ever have. And the best part about all that, it's the free shipping. Just make sure you enter code GL at checkout. Now, when you go to customroasting.net and you click on the Garage Logic tab, you'll also see an option for the starter package. That's 4 different blends from lightest to darkest put together as a fun starter package to introduce you to custom roasting. If you're a coffee aficionado, you really ought to try this coffee. It is absolutely wonderful. Go to customroasting.net.
You know what I really think of hucksters who would try to sell kids on the idea of climate grief? They're unkind. I'm being very serious now. To me, that's unkind to kids.
You mean scare tactic?
Well, it's such utter BS. You've invented it out of whole cloth. There is no reason to believe that you should have some sort of mental problem because winters aren't exactly as you think they should be. I think that's unkind to children. I'm serious. You've lost any grasp of the human spirit. If humankind has done anything over the millennia, it's adapt, change, and flourish. And here you are saying, "Oh my God, I'm sorry, Sally, you're feeling down. It must be the climate, huh?" Yeah, I guess so. Well, let me help you with that. Go bleep yourself.
Yeah, kids don't know.
You're a huckster. It's all BS. It leads to no goodness whatsoever. Because when you're done counseling a child about climate grief, what's your next target? What's it going to be?
Sexuality.
No, we're already doing that. We're already doing that. It's just BS. It's just harmful. I don't think children should be. I don't think children need to be proselytized about this BS. It's just a Mysterian fantasy, with which they hope to bring about the elimination of Western culture. It has nothing to do with the climate. And you got these hucksters dreaming up ideas that, well, I think there's some mental suffering. You're full of BS.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. Go away. Get a real job. Hey, teacher, leave them kids alone. God almighty. Kids got enough trouble being kids.
At what point do you think normally a young person would become noticeable of the environment? Not necessarily it's global. Well, I suppose it's earlier now because they're teaching it in the schools. But normally a kid would not worry about the climate until they're, 18, 19, and then maybe have some...
Well, I'm older than that, and I'm not worried about it. Why? There's nothing you can do.
Maybe an awareness, not a worry, but an awareness.
Oh, I don't know. I suppose.
Other than rain and snow, I bet they don't.
I never have. Why would you?
Because it's life. It's nature.
When
Humans are not bigger than nature.
Matthew, do you remember any 100-degree days when you were, say, in, 7th grade?
No.
Yeah, neither do I. I have no weather memories as a kid. None.
I do have a weather memory as a kid, and you guys are probably going to agree. Acid rain was the big thing.
Yeah, but you don't remember acid rain. You remember being told to be frightened by it.
Yeah.
Yes. I never experienced
that's
acid
like
rain.
open wells and quicksand.
Yeah. Oh, boy, I would not go near quicksand at all.
Acid rain was on that list.
Sucks you right in.
Boy, that's an interesting observation you've had. I have no weather memories.
Me neither.
You weren't preached to about, hey,
No. I have no... Weather has just been a fabric of life. I have no memories of it whatsoever, of anything.
What about as an adult, Joe?
None.
So you don't remember last summer when it was 99 degrees out and you couldn't force yourself to leave the house?
No, I would have left the house and I would have enjoyed it.
But I'm saying as an adult, you have weather memory. But I don't remember weather as a kid ever being a factor unless it was raining or snowing.
You just went out and played.
Exactly.
Or rode your bike.
Well, let's talk about spring because the mink is weighing in. The smell of rain after a dry spell has a name. Water itself is odorless, of course, but rain, particularly after a dry spell, produces a pleasant, earthy scent known as petrichor. The word is a combination of two Greek words, petros, meaning stone, and ichor, or ichor, referring to the mythological fluid that fills the veins of the Greek gods. The name is actually an apt description for where the smell originates because when rain hits porous soil or rock, microorganisms called actinobacteria release an organic compound called geosmin. That's the stuff we talked about yesterday when you can smell spring.
Right.
Geosmin into the air, which contributes to the odor we associate with petrichor. Humans are better at sniffing out this compound than sharks are at smelling blood in the water.
I don't believe that.
And you just hold your doubts.
Yeah.
And some scientists theorize that this particular nasal sensitivity helped our hunter-gatherer ancestors find water sources. Now, you tell me where you're going to get that on a podcast. Just tell me.
Find water sources?
No, petrichor.
So when we attach the rankings to this particular episode, you think we'll be in the top 5 of Petrichor
Throw Petrichor in
podcasts?
there. Yeah.
I believe of
Acid rain and Petrichor.
I believe of the 3 million podcasts that are being podcasted today,
Podcasted.
this will be the only one where petrichor comes up.
And mooses.
Are
And
you
mooses.
sure? Not the lady with the cats?
No.
Your
I
gal with
thought
12 people?
wasn't petrichor when you run and jump off buildings and
That's
dangle from
parkour.
ropes?
That's parkour.
Oh.
I thought, wait, doesn't this dispute what you said yesterday then?
Of course not. Nothing would dispute what I said.
Well,
Everything I said would have been right.
You attributed it to worms. Doesn't this dispute
Worms stir up your...
Your Petrichor?
No.
Your gasoline?
No,
Here we go.
worms.
Here we go.
Gasoline.
Here we go.
Worms are responsible for this word we had yesterday, geosmin. See,
Geosmin Petrichor. I knew
Yes.
him. He was a college professor.
Marvin Geosmin.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Petrichor.
He was a non-believer.
Would you like a Homentashen?
Jimmy, have you ever thought about smelling worms in the spring and knowing spring was coming?
I used to scoop up a considerable amount of worms when I would go fishing at Dewdrop Pond at St. Catherine's,
Okay.
looking for snapping turtles and bullheads.
Slapping turtles.
Slapping?
Yeah, slappy.
Snapping.
Bring
I don't
it
think-
on.
I don't think it's funny if you're making fun of me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you.
Jimbo.
I mean,
Jimmy.
thank you.
How's your mom doing?
She's not alive anymore, and you should know that by now.
Do you know that?
I do.
Well, one of the reasons I'm in the mind I am today
Yeah.
is because nothing really matters.
Anyone
Hello,
can
darkness,
see
my old friend.
nothing really
Nothing
matters.
really matters to me. We, as a country, are insolvent, and it's official.
Saw that, yeah.
It's a conclusion drawn directly from the Treasury Department's own consolidated financial statements for fiscal year 2025, released last week to near total media silence. We have $6.06 trillion in total assets against $47.78 trillion in total liabilities as of September 30th. Last September 30th. Importantly, the $47.78 trillion in reported liabilities does not include the unfunded obligations of social insurance programs like Social Security and Medicare. Those are disclosed separately in the off-balance sheet statement of social insurance, the acronym being SOCI. The government's consolidated balance sheet position, excluding the SOCI, deteriorated by nearly $2.07 trillion between 24 and 25, reaching a staggering negative $41.72 trillion. Total liabilities on nearly 8 times the value of reported assets. The largest drivers were a $2 trillion increase in the federal debt and interest payable, now $30.33 trillion, and a $438.8 billion increase in federal employee and veterans benefits, now payable. What nothing matters. We're broke. We're insolvent. It doesn't even make the news. We just continue merrily along. Weren't we taught that you can't live with debt? That responsible people try to keep control of their debt?
We just keep going.
I mean, I saw a TSA agent interviewed by Renee Cooper last night on Channel 5.
Sure.
The TSA agent, a female, she resigned. She's had it.
Okay.
She's got to find another job. She can't pay her bills. So here's a woman, probably in her 20s, maybe 30s. She's worked there for 14 years at TSA. It'll dawn on her now if it hadn't already. The politicians don't give a bleep about her.
Correct.
They're on the third rail. So there she is, and she can't pay food, medical, and her housing because she's not getting paid. And so she's walking a constant tight wire between her non-incoming income and the people she owes money to. They're in constant touch with each other. And she said, it occurred to me driving here to my job that I need to stop because I can't even afford the gas to get here. And you have a political class that, A, will never experience that because they're on the third rail.
Right.
And B, they don't care that she's experiencing that. And what do the rest of us saps do? Well, we're like her to the degree where, well, we know we have these obligations. We have to pay our mortgage. We have to pay for the food at the store. You have to pay for the gas at the gas station. We can't run up $30 trillion in debt,
Right.
which this country has done through just some of the most haphazard and poor leadership imaginable. Our economic growth currently is at 0. And there's this TSA gal. She was starting to get teary. There's an American citizen playing by the rules. She's the one who's going to suffer, not these bleeps in Washington who don't play by the rules and enrich themselves.
I wonder what the percentage of Americans are that live like that under the poverty line.
Here's the deal.
Many.
I talked
Many.
to several
Most of us.
TSA agents in the last couple of days. The one I talked to this morning, the TSA agents, on their last check, they may have gotten a week's worth before the shutdown. Now this paycheck is 0. They're not getting anything. And
Well, the shutdown's going into its 44th day.
And gas prices are at $3.50, and they still have to, come in from Lakeville or Shakopee or wherever. And this gal had been with TSA for the last
14 years.
Well, no, the gal I talked to this morning, 18 years or whatever, however long it was. And she said that it's the young people that can't do it. The older people can borrow from their 401k, but the 22-year-old, 25-year-old
They
kid,
can't afford it.
They can't afford because they're under.
Can I ask a question? It might be indelicate. Why do you even send out a check if it's $0?
Do they literally get a check?
No, they don't. No, they don't get
Well,
a
you
check.
had just said they got a check for $0.
I mean, this pay period, they're not going to get a check. They're not going to get.
I'm sorry.
Matthew, this employee you were talking to, an 18-year veteran, can you give us a guess on what she makes per year? Is it 70, 100?
No, it's probably close to, if she's been there that long, It depends if they have retention bonuses still, but she's probably at 65 maybe. This is just a wild guess.
It's tough
If
to
she's
live
been
on
there that
65.
Well, and I hate to throw a monkey wrench into that, but I bet it's not that much.
COVID is when they lost a lot of their retention bonuses. So they were paid well to stay, and then those went away, and there was some turnover.
And if you're a single parent with kids under your roof, oh boy.
But the larger point here, let's not lose sight of it, is
Schumer's still getting paid. All those people are still getting paid.
we're led by people who have created this staggering trillions and trillions of dollars of debt.
Yep, and it doesn't affect them.
None of them are affected by it. And, we have people listening to this show thinking, God, I hope I still have time to call Linda Keller because I certainly want to get my taxes in. I'm responsible and an honest American citizen. I'm not going to get in debt. I'm not going to fall behind on my rent. I'm not going to stop buying food. I have to feed my family. And we're just saps the way we're treated in this country. We are saps.
Well, that's another thing that she said. A lot of those people that have filed their taxes may have gotten their refund, and that's what kept them alive the last 2 weeks. But now that refund's going to be gone. So that's when you're going to see the drop down and the no-shows. There was 43 no-shows today.
And the country's government is insolvent, and it goes without notice.
Joe, how many of those politicians currently residing on the third rail, how many do you think are affected by the TSA shutdown, their daily lives?
They have special flying privileges where they don't have to wait in a line.
Yeah, they can be escorted right through the
exactly
the exit doors.
They don't go through what we go through.
How much did Christy Noem and her friends pocket with this outrageous $200 million contract to film an advertisement for her? You could make you made Star Wars for less than $200 million.
Yeah. One of the agencies was started just a day or two before it.
Joe, that's way out on a limb to assume that she's putting that money directly into her pocket.
I don't think it's much of a limb at all.
I think that's a pretty precarious
How
limb.
did Ilhan Omar suddenly be worth $35 million?
I have no idea.
Does anybody on this staff want to volunteer to go through Christy Noem's pockets?
Yes.
While she's okay.
Yeah, I'm willing
Gross.
to sign up. I'll even handcuff her.
Gross.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, somebody got enriched with
we
that.
all act like we'd have a shot with her anyway.
I don't want one.
Oh, no, I don't act that way at all.
I like that Chris is offended that we're not attracted
Yeah,
to
I'm
Christy
sorry.
Noem.
She looks like the love child of Marty Allen and who was the other guy? Somebody,
I'd have to put on one of those funny anti-radiation suits that you wear when you go into Chernobyl.
Yeah.
You know, with the funny,
the
welder's mask thing.
I'm going to use a line that a good friend of mine has said for all of you: invisible.
Well, I don't doubt that.
And I've been throwing
Thankfully.
myself into that ring as well, by the
Thankfully.
way.
Minnesota's always been a place where we build things, including affordable energy, but you can't do that without affordable electricity. And of course, we've got a new. We're operating under a Walls mandate, 100% wind and solar by 2040. But we're paying the price for that more than ever before. And the American experiment is looking at ways to bring nuclear-powered energy back into the fold. It's clean, reliable, no carbon emissions. The technology is safer and more advanced than ever. But we have this moratorium. We can't propose new nuclear plants. The electric companies can't plan. They can't start a study. They can't even begin the process. This is handcuffing energy policy, and we're paying for it. You can help. Go to AmericanExperiment.org. That's one word, AmericanExperiment.org. Click on Take Action and tell your lawmakers to lift the moratorium, free the nukes, and protect Minnesota's long-term energy future, which right now looks like a windmill. That ain't going to power your toaster in the future. Get a hold of AmericanExperiment.org.
Okay.
Who's John? Do you have? Oh, never mind.
The Earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Here's John Heidt.
Nope. Here's Chris Reavers
Here's
for
Chris
Linda
Reavers.
Keller and KellerTaxService.com.
Well, just who I was talking about.
You were, and that's why I thought I'd clue her in. Here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. We have breaking news from the Keller Tax Service news desk. The appointment window has officially left the building.
Wow.
I've been warning you guys for a couple of months now that you better get on that schedule. That's right. If you were thinking about grabbing a pre-April 15th spot, you and about 500 of your closest friends had the same idea. I am sorry, but I am officially booked solid. But because I'm not totally heartless, current clients, which includes the guy delivering the message right now, if you already have your stuff together or close to it, get it to me by March 31st, and we can still make that magical filed on time dream happen. April equals extension territory. No exceptions, not even for your quick question. And you know what, Joe? New clients, she's still going to accept you, just not your deadlines. If you're cool going on extension, she's happy to file your extension or cheer you on while you file your own. Then take great care of you after April 15th.
And we're all doing what the government won't do.
And she also wanted me to make mention, sorry, not sure what days my ads are this week. Just wanted to make sure that I'm clear about current clients. If you've already filed with Linda, she's got you taken care of.
Here's all I care about. Is she going to still advertise?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is this run. She did want me to say she's been flooded with GLers reaching out to her.
Yeah, because GLers are honest saps like the rest of us.
So anyway, check her out online, KellerTaxService.com. Call her directly at 320-352-0. Wait, what is that? 0013. But let her know you heard about her here on the Garage Logic podcast. Thanks for calling me, Royce. While I'm trying to read a script off my phone.
Here's John Heidt.
Well, let's see it.
Thank you, Joe. This news is brought to you by North American Banking Company. One sports announcement. The U of M has named their new men's hockey coach. He is Brett Larson. The University and Larson have agreed to a 5-year term, which is pending Board of Regents approval. Larson has 16 years, 8 as a head coach of collegiate coaching experience. He comes to Minnesota from St. Cloud State, where he served as the head coach the past 8 years. Well, at St. Cloud State, Larson guided the Huskies to 4 NCAA tournament appearances, 2 conference championships, and the program's first ever national championship game in 2021. He leaves the Huskies with 153 career wins. That ranks as the 4th most in that program's history.
This tells me that it was Bob Motzko's decision to step down. You don't go to this guy from Motzko. You know what I'm saying?
Why would Motzko be
Larson's got a good record.
frustrated with something or what?
I just think he's been through a lot. You know, remember he lost his son
I
and
remember
all
that.
that stuff. I just think Bob was ready to call it a day.
In news, Anoka Hennepin Public Schools planning another round of budget cutting, and parents say this time the reductions will be felt in student support services. Parents say they're learning what the next round of cuts will be. The district planning $8.1 million in cuts and 75 position reductions.
I hope among those positions are climate grief counselors.
Well,
get rid of them.
I don't know if it's exclusively that, but some are social workers, yes. The district said the cuts include 6 school counselors, 26 social workers, and other employees who work in classrooms and with technology across the district. A spokesperson said the district remains committed to having 1 social worker at every elementary and middle school site, and the alternatives include increasing class sizes or making program cuts. The district has made a number of cuts over the years, starting with hundreds of office and administrative positions back in 2024. The 75 employees have already been notified about their position cuts, but the budget won't be finalized until June.
Social workers don't make any money, so that's not a major cut. They need to cut where they are top heavy.
Well, the public class cannot budget correctly.
Minneapolis leaders are weighing a plan to shift millions of dollars from other city projects for a new first responder training and wellness center. The Minneapolis City Council set to vote this week on moving money to buy property for the proposed $38 million project. The city also hopes to get $19 million from state bonding, but the plan still faces questions at City Hall and at the Capitol. Advocates say the new facility would benefit all first responders in the city. Now, this funding shift, if it is approved by the whole council, would include $1.8 million going from traffic safety improvements and $3.7 million from renovation plans at the city's Animal Care and Control building. Councilmember Latricia Vitaw said the project is a top priority because it would help Minneapolis meet requirements in its settlement agreement with the state. She said, we're looking at our portfolio of what we need to get done at the city, and right now this is at the top of the list. She also said this would move some training ops out of residential labor in her ward, as the police department currently uses an old elementary school to do some of its training. City Council member Soren Stevenson does not support the project, saying there are so many places where our city needs to be investing to grow the tax base. This is a term I've never heard before, by the way. He says traffic calming is a place that saves lives directly. And I don't think we should be taking money away from that. Does that mean less traffic? Is that what traffic calming
Probably
means?
more humps and less places to park, more turnouts.
What was the traffic calming
Joe is
device we
correct.
had?
It's all those things that make you really, really angry.
But you're supposed to be calm about it.
Yeah, they make it. Yeah.
At the legislative level, Senator Omar Fateh, who represents part of Minneapolis, says he does not plan to support it. It would have to be passed, of course, with that extra money from the state legislature. The chair of the House Fraud Prevention and State Agency Oversight Committee says the amount of money in cash passing through the airport here has risen dramatically over the past 25 years, from $70 million in 2000 to well over $300 million per year now. Representative Kristen Robbins, a Republican from Maple Grove, says we are an outlier as a state in terms of the amount of cash leaving our airport. And so that is why we are having this hearing, to better understand what's going on, not only at the airport, but where these funds are coming from, and are any of them tied to the fraud in Minnesota. The chief of the Metropolitan Airport's police department said they are aware of all the cash that comes through the airport, but says it's up to the federal government to monitor it. Chief Matt Christensen testified the airport police department has been aware of the activity and has informed federal law enforcement and the U.S. Attorney's Office all along that the activity is being conducted, and their response is it's being conducted legally under federal law. The federal government generally requires any cash over $10,000 to be accompanied by a federal form. However, after allegations of widespread fraud and money going to Somalia, the U.S. Treasury Department lowered that threshold to $3,000 for cash at MSP.
How difficult would it be to pull an Ocean's 11 on one of those cash carriers?
Get out of my head. I'm thinking rookie could get us all rich.
I'm thinking we need somebody.
All we need is one suitcase, baby.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
We'll get that little guy to hide inside the box.
Yeah. I don't know what that means, but go ahead.
Ocean's 11. That was one of the
I
little
would
guy.
do this not on airport property. I would accidentally run into the vehicle out on Highway 5. So they'd have to pull over, and then my buddies, you guys, the thugs, would show up. You'd all be crammed into an MG, and
which holds two people.
You'd pull that satchel out of there. You'd toss it in the back of my truck, and then that's the last you'd ever see of me.
He'd let us down, wouldn't he?
He'd say, I'll meet up with you guys at Fort Snelling down below here.
5 days later, the four of us would trudge back in to do a podcast.
Right. Yeah, right.
Twin Cities residents will have the chance to tour and ride in World War II-era bombers this summer. The B-29 DOC, one of the few Boeing B-29 Super Fortresses still flying today, and the B-25 Miss Mitchell, which is part of the commemorative Air Force Minnesota wing, will be featured in the B-29 DOC History Restored tour stop in St. Paul. It'll happen July 16th and July 19th at Holman Field. The B-25, flown by the Doolittle Raiders from the deck of the USS Hornet aircraft carrier, delivered the first attack on mainland China in World War II back in 1942. The B-29 carried out the last attack of World War II on mainland China in 1945, according to Josh Wells, the executive director of Doc's Friends, Inc., their nonprofit board managing the operation of the B-29 DOC.
Having flown in one from Appleton, Wisconsin, back to here. It was a thrill of a lifetime.
Are you kidding me? You couldn't get me to ride in one of those things from the on the ground.
I'm a man, and I'm not easily frightened.
How is that airport? Is that runway long enough for one of those things?
It landed in St. Paul.
That's what I mean, Holman.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'm here. It must have been.
Why don't we take a...
There's no way I'm getting on one of those.
Remember the staff outing we had at that airport where
lunch.
A couple days ahead of the Super Bowl, we decided to go have lunch to watch all of the elegant private jets fly in, and
Zero.
We saw none of them.
Nothing.
Well, because what we were so stupid, we thought they'd be coming in early. If the game had a 5 p.m. kickoff, they were
all
getting
flew
here
in
at
that
noon.
morning.
Why the hell would you want to come to Minneapolis in the dead of winter?
I know, especially with the winter the way it is now, it causes mental illness.
I will also say that we did overlook the fact that Signature Aviation does quite a bit of business at the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport.
And Matthew, didn't they use Flying Cloud? Didn't a lot of them put down at Flying Cloud? Or am I thinking of a
Yes,
different
I'm sure
event?
they did.
Of course.
Well, because
did
don't
have
the
a-
Wilfs have an area out there at Flying Cloud?
I don't know, Chris.
Okay, sorry for bringing it up.
We did have a good lunch, though. So
Yeah, it was.
Now they put Holman's table. Yes.
very good stuff.
That's still functioning?
Yes.
Good.
Mushroom toast?
Ooh.
Thanks for inviting me. Appreciate
Well,
that.
you were in the woods.
You were
No,
picking-
Kenny, we did, and your response was, bleep you, bleep holes.
Why don't we take a quick break here and hear from the fella who we invited to lunch but didn't show up, Mr. Olson.
I need help. What time of year is it? Is this first spring? Is this fall spring? Is
I
it
don't know if
second
we're allowed to
spring?
consider this spring or not. For a Royal Order of the 21sters, we're dead into summer.
'Tis the season.
Yeah.
Summer. I'm going to go with second spring. I think we're in second spring. You know, it really doesn't matter where we are on the calendar. Crabgrass and weeds, they're already plotting their revenge on your yard. The best lawn in the block. It's a click away, baby. Just go to professionalturf.com. They've been in the Twin Cities since 1982, and they've been on GL since way, way back in the radio days. That means you've been hearing us touting the benefits of ProTurf for a long, long time. Long enough to know that you should not send that renewal notice into that company that did a lousy job for you last year. Go with the company that we've been talking about for years, the best in the business with lawn care techs that have been treating lawns for over 20 years or more. ProTurf, all their employees, very happy long-term employees. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to professionalturf.com. Do it right now as you're listening to me. Schedule a free in-person lawn care estimate. Then one of those ProTurf experts, they're going to come out and walk your lawn. This isn't a phone deal like all the other companies are. They come out and check things out, and then they set up a custom slow-release fertilizer and weed killer program, environmentally safe, of course, and guaranteed for superior results. I'm talking a beautiful, beautiful, did I just say beautiful twice? I should have said it 3 times. A lush lawn that is free of dandelions, crabgrass, and broadleaf weeds. You'll have the best track on the block, guaranteed. All you have to do is click on professionalturf.com.
In other news, Iran launched waves of missiles at Israel on Tuesday, a day after President Trump said there had been a very good and productive talk aiming at halting the war. Iran has denied that any such talks had taken place. 3 senior Israeli officials, speaking on condition of anonymity, said the president appeared determined to reach a deal, but that they thought it was highly unlikely Iran would agree to U.S. demands in any new round of negotiations. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates have taken steps toward joining the Iran war, according to the Wall Street Journal. Saudi Arabia agreed to give the U.S. military access to King Fahd Air Base, according to the Wall Street Journal, citing people familiar with the matter. That's an apparent reversal after saying its bases couldn't be used to attack its longtime rival. $500 million worth of bets on the oil market were placed 15 minutes before President Trump said the U.S. had held productive talks with Iran and announced a ceasefire on energy strikes, and that's raising some eyebrows.
It should, while we assemble our taxes to get in on time.
KellerTaxService.com.
Some 6,200 oil future contracts changed hands between 6:49 and 6:50 a.m. Eastern Time on Monday. That was about 15 minutes before President Trump's announcement of very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of hostilities in the Middle East on Truth Social. The value of those contracts, $580 million, according to the Financial Times. The oil futures market is far larger than the trade in physical oil. Investors can buy or sell oil at a set price for a future date, allowing them to guard against any unexpected leaps in prices in months ahead. Shortly after the president's post, the American S&P 500 stock index rose and oil prices fell below $100 a barrel, with markets hedging that the conflict might soon come to an end. President Trump, who has long railed against mail-in voting, including yesterday when he called it mail-in cheating, well, he voted by mail in Florida's special election scheduled to take place tomorrow. According to voter records on the Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections website, the president voted by mail in Palm Beach County, the home to Mar-a-Lago.
Well, you're rotten. You're just rotten for pointing that out. That's fake. You're rotten.
I'll hear that. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Records show he has been registered to vote there since 2019 and that he mailed his ballot at least one other time in 2020. The website noted the president's voter status was by mail ballot and that it had been counted in the special election and will determine whether Democrat Emily Gregory or Republican John Maples, who the president endorsed, will represent Trump's district in the Florida State House. The president has called for some exceptions for mail-in voting, such as when voters are ill, disabled, traveling, or in the military, but it's unclear why he chose to mail his ballot for the special election, because he spent the last 2 weekends in West Palm Beach during the early voting period, which started March 14th and ended on Sunday. He could have voted either of those 2 times when he was in Florida. In a private audience on the 13th of March, Pope Leo XIV received representatives of the AIE. What is that?
Yeah.
What is that, John?
What is that, John?
Atomic energy?
International Association of Exorcists.
Oh, those guys, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Signaling.
Why would it be called AIE then?
I was wondering that myself, Chris, and I don't know. I tried to look that up when I wrote the story. And
The Amalgamation of International Exorcists.
signaling renewed attention to what church officials describe as a growing spiritual crisis. The delegation presented a detailed report highlighting an increase in cases linked to occultism and Satanism, warning that many individuals are suffering serious spiritual consequences as a result.
It's just climate grief. They don't have the devil in them.
The private meeting, details of which were shared by the Vatican, centered on the rising demand for trained exorcists and the church's preparedness to respond. The AIE urged the Pope to ensure that every diocese worldwide has at least one properly trained exorcist priest.
You gotta have it. Do we have one here in the local?
I would imagine we do.
Think so? Really?
Yes.
He doesn't show up very often.
Well, I'm just telling you, they got one on the staff.
You know, they usually have the Sundays where the priest comes in from San Pedro and he's asking
the
for
Philippines.
Yes.
Got the new shoes and a haircut.
Yes.
Looking for a little payday?
Yep.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to read a story that I was pressured into reading from the fellas on the show. Okay? Don't blame me.
Here we go.
A Maryland man who made history as the first quadruple amputee to compete in the professional televised American Cornhole League has been arrested on suspicion of shooting and killing a passenger in his car during an argument. Dayton Weber, who became a champion cornhole player after losing his limbs and nearly dying from a bacterial infection in his infancy, faces murder charges in connection with the death of Bradwick Wells, according to authorities. Statement from investigators with the sheriff's office said Weber was driving his car with Wells as his front seat passenger at about 10:25 in the evening.
Who was driving
Sunday.
the car?
Dude.
The guy with no limbs?
No, his buddy.
No, John, who was driving the car?
The fella with no limbs
Okay.
was driving the car. That'd be Dayton Weber.
Yep.
He was driving.
How was he steering?
Wells was his passenger.
How do you think I rang the doorbell?
They began arguing in front of others who were in the vehicle, so there's more than these two in the vehicle.
I see.
Weber then allegedly shot Wells to death, pulled over in the community of La Plata, and asked the other passengers to help him remove the body from the car. The others refused, got out of the car, and fled the scene while Weber drove away with the body of Wells. 2 people who purportedly saw the killing waved down police, reported what had happened. That set off a search for Weber. Yes.
You added a
back there.
tentacle to this story I was not aware of.
Uh-huh.
So not only did Stumpy drive the car after winning the cornhole championship, he was driving the car and was able to fire the gun with his stump.
How do you do that? I wonder.
Bro is talented.
And nobody
None of
helped him
this-
get rid of the body, so he had to nudge it out with his
None
head.
of this
Right,
is
yeah.
real. You're making all of this up, John.
Well,
All of it.
investigators found him and determined the body was that of Wells, and the Charles County Sheriff's Office said a deputy obtained a warrant to arrest Weber.
Did Wells have limbs?
So far as we know, yes. Right. Authorities said they found
He's
Weber's.
hanging out with like-minded people.
Well, you never know.
Said they found Weber's car in Charlottesville, Virginia, about 150 miles from where they had recovered Wells' body.
I'm seeing a Far Side cartoon. Yeah.
150 miles away is not far enough.
They reportedly tracked Weber down to a nearby hospital where he had sought treatment for an unspecified medical issue. The Albemarle County Police Department, whose jurisdiction includes the hospital, arrested Weber as a fugitive upon his discharge. Charles County Sheriff's deputies said they planned to book Weber on charges of murder, assault, and use of a firearm in the commission of a felony. A statement of charges filed in court and reported by WTTG television said Weber knew his passenger from his work. It accused Weber of having shot Wells twice in the head. Mm-hmm. Investigators said everybody in the car was known to each other. The sheriff's office also did not specify exactly how Weber was able to fire a gun while driving his car.
Well, hell, he was a cornhole champion. The guy could do anything.
Very resourceful.
A video
Was
post.
Jeff Dubay involved in any manner in this story?
Excuse me, I dropped my pencil. I have to pick it up.
It just seems like something he'd be present
Isn't
at.
cornhole where you throw the bean bags?
That's correct, sir.
How do you, if you don't have any hands, how do you do that?
Well, there was a picture of him in the story
You
where
kind of
he was competing.
Give it one of these. You got this 2 stumps.
Does he have elbows?
And then you kind of he's got the stumps.
Oh.
Just because you're an amputee doesn't mean you don't have you're not cut off at the shoulder.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah.
There was
Is
a video.
he somehow using his swimsuit area?
There was a video posted on a YouTube account named after Weber that showed him loading a pistol and firing it 4 times. Not this shooting, but in a different instance.
Did you watch the video?
I did not.
Okay, I was wondering how you how you could do that. I don't know.
I actually was avoiding this story like the plague until you guys said something.
This is a guy living life to its fullest.
Well,
I mean, no arms, no legs. He's out there cornholing and driving around and shooting shit and people doing drive-bys. This guy's living, man. Livin.
Well, he hasn't let this be a setback to him, has he?
Yeah.
He knows how to turn.
That's right.
Help me hide this body.
Into wine.
Yeah.
What is the
Not
phrase?
wanted to. He had
Water.
to shove it out with his head.
Right. Got to nudge it.
Nudge it out.
Anyway, he's now been charged. So there you go. Do your own research if you have
He'd
more
be a fun
questions.
roommate in prison, wouldn't he?
Well, I was trying to picture that and how he'd get along in prison.
He probably wouldn't be on the top bunk.
No, he'd have to climb.
Huh?
I just think that's...
You'd pass him around like a burlap bag of oats.
What are oats?
Oats.
You know oats?
I'm seeing. Aren't they a little teeny wafer thing?
I don't know.
Super small communions.
They're little. They look like little pieces, buds of cereal.
It's just a small grain, guys.
It's a small grain. And
not. It's not meant to be a brain teaser.
Some are very high in protein, which is
Lord.
By certain people I know eat that.
Brooke was willing to take a swing at it, though, wasn't he?
You just make one statement, and
again, I'd like to go on the record as saying I did not pull that story.
Well, John, that's too bad because that might be the best news story you've ever read.
Ever?
No, that doesn't top the
hearing aid gal.
Doesn't top the hearing aid guy.
Yeah,
that's number one.
Well, and he was going to get her ice cream.
Yep,
Yeah.
he got lost in the development.
Was it ice cream or smokes? What was it?
Both.
I think both. Yeah, I think Joe's right.
And then he tried to light the hearing aid
With the ice cream cone.
No, with the No, he thought
He
that was
tried
a
to
cigarette.
light the hearing aid with his.
Yeah.
Wasn't DeBay hitting some gal with?
I don't know anything
no
about
legs?
that. I don't know anything about that. I don't know who he is.
Yeah, you do.
Before my time,
No,
I
it
have
wasn't.
nothing to do with it. I have no knowledge whatsoever of who you speak of.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she didn't have any legs.
Well, that's there are people like that in this world.
No
Kenny,
word if
and-
she participated in cornhole.
And we
Well.
owe them our deepest thanks.
Yes.
I don't know what for, but we owe them our deepest thanks.
Reavers may be an unwilling participant.
Would you like me to read anything else, Joe? or-
No, that's plenty. You've
Yeah,
done
I'll
enough
say.
damage.
I know.
Way to go,
And it
John.
wasn't your
Sure.
fault, John.
Blame me, yeah.
No, it
You
wasn't
really
your
screwed
fault
it
now
up
that I
this
think
time.
about it.
Tell me more about oats.
No, I'm going to tell you about garage doors, though.
Okay.
You need a new door. You know, you didn't come through the winter that well. You didn't take my advice and get her tuned up, and she finally went kaput on you. Mm-hmm. Well, get a hold of Precision Garage Door. They have models of doors for every budget. They send out a designer. You figure it out. You get $400 rebate if you're a GLer getting a new door because they'll take your old garage door, and you increase the value of your home. You can save energy, provide better security. You're fit for a long time. Think of a new door, but it's a door. If that door of yours did come through the winter, but she's acting up a little, you can book a $79 safe and sound package, and they'll throw the diagnostics at it. 25-point they got little machines and stuff. They can figure out what's wrong with that door and fix you up so you're fine. Book online at Precision Door MN, one word, precisiondoormn.com, or call Precision Door at 612-263-6985 to schedule your free on-site new door estimate or book a safe and sound package with Precision Door.
82.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
This is the best song we have in our library right now.
Think so?
Yeah.
Well, then that's perfect to describe North American Banking Company, because they're the best banking client we have here in Garage Logic. And they have been dedicated to create a better banking experience for their customers where you, that's right, you, get to know your banker and they also get to know you. And you do get that feeling anytime that you walk into any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Doesn't matter which one, you're going to get treated the same. Whether it's Woodbury, Hastings, Shoreview, Maple Grove, 50th in France, and also in Roseville. They offer the same updated online and mobile banking tools as all of those other big national banks. And you might think, well, that can't be the case from a community bank. Well, that is the case from North American Banking Company. But you got to see it for yourself. Check them out online today. It's nabankco.com to learn more. Locally owned and operated. That means loan decisions are made right here in the Twin Cities. They are not sent out of state. So all of you small business owners, you're able to solve problems quickly and also expand your business with confidence. Once again, nabankco.com to learn more. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender. Joe?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Only because they come to us all the way from Penguin, Tasmania, and the traveling Lymans. It was on this day.
Joe, today is March 24th.
1858.
Wow.
The printing press of the...
A long time ago.
Yeah. The printing press of the St. Cloud Visitor was destroyed by a mob. The paper's editor, Jane Grey Swissheim, a feminist and abolitionist, had angered local businessman and slave owner Sylvanus B. Lowry. Swisshelm soon obtained a new press and printed the story of her press's destruction and the names of the culprits, which resulted in a libel case and the termination of the paper. A week later, she began publishing the St. Cloud Democrat, which she ran for 8 years. On this day,
March.
That's where we got Lowry Tunnel.
No, Matt, I don't think so.
No.
On this day,
March 24th.
in 1999, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld the rights of the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe to fish and hunt in ceded lands without state regulation, as dictated by an 1837 treaty. I remember that. There was a great fuss about that.
Yeah, there was.
On this day,
March 24th.
in 2002, the UMD Bulldogs women's ice hockey team won their second consecutive national championship. On this day in sports disappointment history.
Who did we lose to on March 24th?
On this day in 1996, Michigan's Mike Legg did a trick puck lift to score a tying goal versus the Gophers.
The Gophers.
Michigan went on to win 4-3 and advance to the Frozen Four. I think to this day that move is called a Michigan.
Yes, it is.
Where you capture the puck on the toe of your blade and then you do fantastic things with it.
A guy I heard a couple of weeks ago said guys can do that stuff.
Oh,
now.
yeah. And it's going to get only better.
Yeah.
On this day,
March 24th.
in 2006, I'll never forget this. The Gopher hockey team lost to Holy Cross.
Oh, my God.
In the first round of the NCAA
All right,
tournament.
that's coming up on Monday Night Sports Talk on a Tuesday.
Holy Cross.
I think of Ethan McIntosh.
That was 20 years
Holy
ago.
Cross.
Wow.
Wow.
Ice hockey lost to Holy Cross 20. Hey, Pat. Yes. 20 years ago today, Holy Cross beat the Gophers.
I was aware of that. And now there's some Gopher fans who think hiring Brett Larson.
Okay. We can't hear a word he's saying.
More on that after Garage
Thank you,
Logic.
GLers.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
how
you
about
very
that?
much.
Thanks,
Please
guys.
do us a favor.
Appreciate
If you have not done so already, hit the subscribe button on the Garage Logic YouTube channel. That's right there, Mushmouth. Yeah, where you can watch the show each and every single day, starting right around noon. You can also see full segments. There's video shorts. There's even behind-the-scenes footage. Just search Garage Logic on YouTube, along with all of our social media channels. That includes Facebook, Instagram, and X. And what else can you do? Oh, sign up for the Daily Logician. That's right. That's an email that comes right to your inbox each and every single day. And it includes the most recent episode of the podcast. Find out more and sign up today online at garagelogic.com.